Good morning, everybody. Welcome to War Thunder. I am Old Dead Man, your host. Let's take a look at what we've got coming today, because we've got a big economy patch coming, and they have given us the preliminary information on what's to be expected for the patch. So let's take a look at the changes, kind of give my thoughts on them. I do have a lot of summary material here that I've gone through. I've done some analysis, run all the data on the reward and repair changes into a database, and compared and contrasted and did some math and grabbed some information out of there. So let's see what we got. I'll give you the biggest winners, the biggest losers, and I'll talk about how it looks for all the nations as well. So let's get started here. First up, we've got the M8 HMC is moving to rank 1 and will be put before the M3 GMC. Admittedly, I didn't think the M8 HMC was that much worse than the M3, but it is a lower BR, so, okay, makes sense. That going to rank 1, though, will mean that you only have the M10 in the rank 2 lineup, so keep that in mind. Over here in Germany, the Jagdpanzer 4.5 and the Jagdpanther are trading positions. No changes in rank or BR, so this just puts it into a position where the 6.0 Jagdpanther is going to be before the Jagdpanzer 4.5. Admittedly, in my opinion, that makes perfect sense, because the Jagdpanzer 4.5 I actually enjoy because it's fast, nimble, and while I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a turret, it is a good tank nonetheless. And the Jagdpanther can take a flying leap as far as I'm concerned. I don't like it very much at all. You can see I've spaded it. That's probably just from sheer dogged determination to spade everything. Now, this one's already been mentioned before during the BR changes list. The M48 Super and the KPZ-70 are trading positions here. And again, that makes sense because the KPZ-70 is a better vehicle than the M48 Super, and that puts it into proper BR order again. The premium M4 748A in Germany is moving to rank 3. I don't have that vehicle, so I don't have it to show. All the Valentines are going to be folded together, then moved in front of the Matilda. The Achilles is moving to rank 2. This annoys me because that kind of destroys your chances of having a lower ranking rank 3 lineup in Britain. But they've already done that similar action to the other countries that have had decent lower ranking tier 3 lineups, so no surprise. Since the Achilles has moved to rank 2, the 3-inch gun carrier will be moving to the spot before the Achilles. The Charioteer Mark 7 will be moving to the medium tank line and going in front of the FV-40-202. In the Italian line, the Centauro 1-105 is moving from rank 5 to rank 6, and I would say that if you're looking to get this ground out, you want to do it now while the RP cost is still low. Otherwise, it'll be bumping up when it moves to rank 6. So if you're close to it, get it finished. And to match with the new BR changes that have just come out, the Ariete PSO and the Ariete are switching places. The AMX-30 DCA is moving from rank 5 to rank 6. Another surprise for me, but if you are close to getting that AMX-30 DCA, you want to get it before it changes ranks, because it'll change both RP cost and price. So get that done quick. Obviously, that's something I need to work on. To match with their new BRs, the LA-15, the LA-200 are swapping places in the tree. And for no apparent reason, the MiG-17 is moving to rank 5, which should mean that if you are looking at starting research on it, you might want to wait, as that'll be a drop in BR and therefore a drop in price and RP cost. And that's it for the tree changes. Let's take a brief look at the economy changes, though. Especially the premium economy changes. I've gone through and I've done a fast analysis. The big losers are going to be the A2D1 in the American tree, which is having a price increase from 4,890 Golden Eagles to 6,900 for an increase of 2,010, and with no research progress improvement. So the rewards won't be any better for it. The M26T99 is another big loser. It goes up 1,490 Golden Eagles from 5,990 to 7,480. It does, and it has no change to the reward multipliers. The other thing that is a positive for it is it's actually having the connection to the Calliope removed. So this will no longer be It will no longer have the prerequisite of the Calliope before you can buy the M26 T99, which I never understood in the first place, but it is a thing. The big winner for this one is the Spitfire LF Mark 9 Charlie in the US tech tree. It is actually having its price drop 2,020 Golden Eagles from 6,900 to 4,880. And it does have a small bump from 1.66 to 1.72 on its research point multiplier. The biggest winners and the biggest losers were in the US tree. If you actually analyze the whole list, you'll find that overall, if you bought every premium on the list, you would actually save, after these changes, 4,320 Golden Eagles. So by and large, the prices on average are actually dropping. And they are getting slightly better research point modifiers. Slightly. All told, it goes up, if you bought them all, 0.12. So we're not talking a huge increase in research points, but it is a significant decrease in the cost of the vehicles overall. Like I said, we've got some big winners and some big losers. It's just the average of them ends up being slightly better for the consumer in that regard. That said, if you're one of the ones that has, say, purchased the Key 43-2 in the US tree, well, you are already having actually a net detriment to your research point improvement award on that. So individual ones might be a little better or a little worse, but overall, it actually means Gaijin's making less money on it rather than more. Let's move on to the repair cost and reward multipliers across the entirety of the trees, and the big winners and the big losers. The big winner in repair cost is the F4F Early, which is dropping 44% in its repair cost. So that's going to be a real benefit to those who fly this vehicle. The other winners are the P51 C11NT from Japan with a 40% drop, and the F5C from the US with a 33% drop. The LA200 also enjoyed a nice little benefit, dropping about 26% in its repair costs. The big losers as far as repair cost for this patch in aircraft are the P39 Q25 for France, which it went up 177%, or 77% of its increase over its original. The J70 in China went up 221%. The Yak 28B went up 274%. The F5E went up 313%. And the biggest loser, as far as repair costs go, is the Sagittario 2, going up a whopping 700%. Amazing. And of course, we know this vehicle is tremendously effective for its BR, but these repair costs, I mean, it's going from 4,770 to 33,390 as its base SL repair cost. It's an effective plane, absolutely. I'm sorry, bring up its BR so it faces harder opponents. Don't bring up its repair cost to such a ridiculous level. Nothing should be running around with the where you're literally banking your bank account on whether or not you can survive in it long enough to not actually die. Moving on to reward multipliers, we have the big winner, which is the MiG-23M in the Russian tree. It's going up 245% in its reward multiplier. The other winners are the Yak 28B at 233%, the D373 from France at 200%, or doubling its original value, which is a low-tier plane. Doubling it's not exactly hard. The F5E in the US is going up 169%, and the J7E is going up 159%. As far as the losers go, we've got a series of low-tier vehicles that all drop 50%. The Gladiator Mark II, the V156B1, the D3A1, the F1M2, and the HS123A1. All of these vehicles went from 0.4 to 0.2, but they're all low-ranking vehicles, so there's no big change for, well, except for brand new players that are still at these low tiers, which I feel sorry for them, but it's not a huge change for these vehicles. You're never getting huge amounts of RP to begin with any of these. As far as nations go, the biggest winners as far as repair costs are Germany, which had a a drop of about 14% of its overall air tree in repair costs. All nations had at least something of a drop if you took all of the repair costs for the nation. With the one that actually had the least repair drop being Italy that only got about a 1.5% drop. As far as rewards go, all nations ended up taking a loss on this one, so everyone took a hit. The one that took the least hit is Sweden, which only lost 3.5%, and the one that took the biggest hit is Germany, which lost 13% of their reward multipliers overall, the entire trees in the air side. Let's move on to tanks. When it comes to repair costs, the biggest winner is the US M3A3 Bradley, which went from 5,810 to 3,900 for the base repair cost, for a drop of 1,910 Silver Lions. That is a 33% drop, so pretty good for it. The other winners are the Challenger 2 in Great Britain, which dropped 28%. The SDKFC 234-2 TD in Germany, which dropped 20%, as well as the T26-4, and the Ha-Go, which also dropped 20%. The biggest losers in repair costs were the Dardo. That's number 5 on my list, actually number 6. The Dardo went up 214% on its repair cost. The M47 for Japan went up 222%. The Jagdpanzer 4.5 went up 279%. The Toldi 2A from Italy went up 363%. And the Ito 90M for Sweden went up 562%, which may give you a hint as far as to which is the biggest loser. The French Ito 90M. It went from 2,990 to 16,970 Silver Lions, for a 13,980 Silver Lion increase, for 568% of its original baseline repair cost. That is a jump. On the reward side, the biggest winner is the Chiha Kai, which had a 200% increase. Since this is a low-tier vehicle, it just went from 0.2 to 0.4. So it doesn't make a big difference for you, but it is the biggest by percentage of the winners. Other winners include the Jagdpanzer 4.5 at 189% higher, which is also on our biggest losers for the repair cost. So they're trying to balance the repair cost increase with a similar increase to the rewards. Since the repair cost for the Jagdpanzer 4.5 went up 279%, but its reward only went up 188%, that's going to tell me that, 189%. That's telling me that it's unlikely to make up the difference. The Ito 90M also went up for France and Sweden. France went up 188% and Sweden went up 175%. Again, these do not balance the enormous repair cost increases. And the M3A3 Stuart for China went up 150%. Again, another low-tier vehicle, so having that kind of a big jump is not hard to do. Overall, the Itos took it in the shorts for this one, both on the repair cost and the reward multiplier, just because the reward multiplier will never make up for the huge change in its repair cost. As far as the losers go, we have a passel of low-tier tanks that all drop 50%. The biggest loser being the SDKFC 234-2 TD, which is a gift vehicle, from 0.4 to 0.2, and the rest of these all went from 0.2 to 0.1, all for a 50%, or losing half of their reward multiplier. The Ha-Go, the Chi-Ha, the AS-42, the Sturv M39 TD, the Panzer 38T-A, the BT-7D, the Chi-Ha Kai, the M8 HMC, the Panzer IIF, the M2A2, and the Chi-Ha Kai TD. TD stands for Twitch Drop, by the way. So this is a Twitch Drop vehicle when you see that pop up. Usually you would think of that as Tank Destroyer, but it's actually just Twitch Drop. So all of those lost 50% of their reward earning capabilities. As far as the biggest winners and losers on the countryside, for repair costs, Great Britain was the big winner. It actually dropped by 11%, 11.1%. The biggest loser is Sweden, which went up 4.5% in their overall repair costs. As far as the rewards go, Sweden was the big winner at increasing 1.1%, and the biggest loser was Italy, which dropped 3.1%. Moving along to Naval, the biggest winners as far as repair costs go are the JDS Ugure DD-184, which had a drop from 6,030 to 1,220, for a drop of 4,810. That's 20% of its original repair costs. So that one's a big drop for it. Other winners are the VS-8 from Germany, which went down 58%, and the Bezuprejny, which dropped 33%. The big losers for repair costs are the HMS Liverpool, which went up 184%, the HMS Leopard, which went up 234%, the Arendante Alighieri, which went up 663%. But you think that's bad? Let me show you the real loser when it comes to the naval repair costs. The USS Wyoming went from 8,620 to 60,000 for an increase of 696%, or 51,380 silver lions for its baseline repair. It's gone up. That's not to say Italy's much better with its 663% on the Dante Alighieri, but oh man, these naval repair costs are getting insane. For the reward side, we're returning to the HMS Liverpool, which is having a nice, sweet little 316% increase in its reward multiplier from 1.9 to 6. The HMS Leopard had a 211% increase. The Dante Alighieri, another familiar name from the loser list from the repair costs, went up 208%. The Wyoming went up 200%, and the AFD3 from Germany went up 147%. The losers as far as the rewards go are the Dark Adventurer, which went down in its rewards by 36%. There we go. The MS-15 from Italy, which went down 37%, and the MTB-12, which went down 40%. So we've got a few losers there and a few more winners. As far as nations go for repair costs, they all went up in naval. Germany went up only 2.4%, with Italy being the biggest loser on this one, going up 43.9% on its repair costs. For rewards, the biggest winner is Great Britain, which went up 11.19%, and the smallest winner is the US, which went up 7.23%. All nations at least increased some as far as rewards, but all nations went up as far as repairs pretty well as well. Some of those big changes are what's driving up some of those numbers, so a lot of the individual ships might actually be rather improved, considering there are some individual signature ships that end up getting such huge increases. So overall, this may actually be better for most lines, as long as you're not playing these top tier vehicles. Now it's time to get to the chopper. With the helicopter winners and losers, the winners are all getting the exact same reduction in repair costs of about 18% to 82% of their current value. The UH-1D from Germany, the AH-64A from the US, the UH-1B from the US, the Mi-24A from Russia, the AH-1G from the US, and Britain's apparently most efficient helicopter, the AH Mark I Scout, which according to Gaijin, by the statistics, is the best helicopter in the game. As far as the big losers for repair costs, we have the A129 International, which goes up 19%. The Mi-24D and the Mi-24P HFS-80 both going up by 20%. And the EC-665 Tiger HAP from France and the A129 CBT from Italy going up 21% each. Let's move on to the rewards, where we see who the winners and losers are. The big reward winner is the Mi-24A from Russia, going up 15% for a nice sturdy little 3 on its reward multiplier. The other winners are the UH-1C, the AH-1S Kisarazu, the Ka-50, the UH-1C XM30, the AH-64A Patin, and the Mi-24D, all going up 4%. The big losers as far as rewards are the Wasp HAS Mark I and the AH Mark I, both in Britain, which went down 28%. The SA-342M Gazelle from France went down 30%. The Ka-52 went down 32%. And the big loser is the Mi-28N, which went down 35% in its reward multiplier. Now, I noticed that on the repair cost, the Ka-50 and the the Ka-50 had no change, and the Ka-52 and the Mi-28, when you looked at the numbers, both had a 20% repair cost drop. So I'm not sure what their statistics are saying, but I'm not so sure I agree with them. As far as nations go, the biggest winners on the helicopter side for repair cost are Japan with a 14% drop, and the smallest winner would be Italy with a 0.03% drop. Sorry, 0.3% drop. So all of them went down just a touch as far as the whole nation goes. Rewards-wise, the biggest winner, if you can call it that, is the US, which experienced no overall drop across the entire line. So it kept its exact same reward multipliers. And the biggest loser is Great Britain, which had a 11% drop in its overall reward multipliers for its entire British helicopter tree. And that's all of the different vehicle types. Now, I did do some analysis on the national lookup, the national makeup here, and kind of get an overall feel for who the winners and losers were. If you took all the repairs and all the rewards, the changes all together, who actually came out better and who came out worse? Well, as far as repair costs go, the big winner is China, which had a 10% overall drop across all of its trees in repair cost. Germany had an 8% drop. Russia had a 6% drop. France had a 4% drop, Sweden a 2%, and Japan a 2%. The US had a 1% drop. Great Britain had a 1% drop. And Italy had an 8% increase in repairs across all trees. I think you can mostly point to the Italian naval changes to explain the reason why it went up so much. As far as rewards go, nobody came out to the good. Sweden had the smallest drop of 1%, and Great Britain had 2% a drop. The US, Russia, and Italy all had a 4% drop. France and Japan had a 5% drop. Germany and China both had a 6% drop. As far as overall, how all the nations are doing with this economic patch, I created what I called the Normalized Suffering Index. This is where you take the inverse of the repair cost changes so that a higher percentage is better, and the regular reward changes, so a higher percentage is better for there. You add them together, divide by 2 to get an average of their overall experience in this update of the economy. And the big winner is China, which actually improves on the Normalized Suffering Index by 2.36%. Germany goes up 1.5%. Russia goes up 0.96%. Sweden goes up 0.11%. France drops 0.18%. Great Britain drops about 0.5%. The US drops 1.25%. Japan drops nearly 2%. And Italy drops a whopping 6% compared to how they would be right now. Again, this is across all trees with all rewards and all repairs accounted for. And obviously these numbers are not truly indicative of each individual line or any one country's lineup in one particular branch or anything like that. This is just a way to kind of do an overall, how is everybody suffering this time type of a feel for it. So in this case, China, Germany, Russia, and Sweden are doing slightly better, and all the other nations are doing slightly worse, with Italy taking the biggest kick in the shorts. There are a few additional changes that we need to address real quick here. They are recalculating how they're doing activity. So battle activity will now change how it works. The current formula basically takes the number of points earned and how long you're in the vehicle, does some math with it, and says, okay, look, if you're this many points for this many minutes, that is your battle activity. They adjusted the algorithm, so now they're going to have to be, see if I can put this right here. It is no longer your personal activity that's in question. So if you went into a battle, you used one vehicle, you ended your battle because maybe you weren't able to spawn in again or voluntarily decided to leave, your battle activity is not finished being calculated. They have added the median time and the median rate of earning points of your team. So that means that you have to beat a certain midpoint of the entire match to have an higher activity percentage. This means that short game sessions aren't very profitable. And a long game session where you lose a lot of tanks becomes a lot more profitable to a certain extent. That helps. It means you have more motivation to stay in a match. On the other hand, all of those activity-based tasks become an awful lot harder. So my gut feel on this is it's going to actually be harder to accomplish the activity-based tasks, and you're going to make overall less money if you end up out of the match early, either due to some combination of ill luck or lack of a lineup. So there's some changes there. I've got the full text linked in the description below. Take a look at it. Tell me what you think. They are changing the conditions of the activist combat tasks. They're going to be making it 80% for an easy mission and 85% for average and special missions. I don't remember if that's an increase or a decrease, though. So we'll have to see what that looks like overall. Let me know what you think of that one in the comments. And they've totally reworked the whole aviation SB mode setup as far as the way you get useful actions. They've added this as a modifier for your simulator battles. So that's going to change how you're going to get points there. Again, text in the description below. I addressed this in the previous video. I'll drop a link to it as well. That's everything for today. That's the economy as it's coming our way. Overall, I'm not terribly fond of the changes. I feel as though they are making things more complicated and trying to obfuscate certain things that way. And they're not really balancing the things that need to be balanced by all indications. Admittedly, I don't have access to Gaijin statistics, just like nobody else does. Their claims as far as which ones are the most efficient don't ring true to me. To my experience, that does not mean that there aren't others whose experience is different in that regard. Overall, this is going to keep me... This isn't going to change much about how I play. I spend more of my time at the middle tiers than anywhere else, just because I like to have fun and I like to do things, and losing multiple tanks in a match, as long as I'm not losing money overall, doesn't really bother me. I can go in there and I can lose 5, 6 tanks and a couple of planes, and as long as in the end I've got a positive number in the Silver Lions column, I'm pretty happy. The overall picture, though, is that it's going to be a little bit more challenging in some ways, and in some ways it's going to be better. Take your pick. That said, you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in War Thunder and have some fun, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this.